Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at Bitcoin US dollar index on the 4-hour time frame. However, we are looking into the past at my video I released 2 days ago before market open on Friday. Before US market open on Friday. And you can see by the last little green candle there where we were at. That was before market open. This is where I said, watch out. We're forming a head and shoulders pattern here. So now, today, in current time frame, this is what we're seeing. That has played out. This is on an hourly time frame. If we switch to a 4-hour, you can see that little green candle I was talking about is actually this big green candle now on the 4-hour time frame, and it was much smaller in that last video than the one next to it here. So yes, in fact, we did come up and form this head and shoulders pattern exactly as I had predicted. Now I'm going to turn this off for a second because what I do want to show now. So if you've been watching, you should be able to follow along here. We had the inverse head and shoulders pattern here, which brought us out of our long bull flag pattern consolidation into this upward channel here. Now we've been traveling in that upwards channel a little while and now forming a head and shoulders pattern, which could then again reverse us back down this way. So this is a failed attempt out of the Gaussian channel. And we got also rejected off the center line of this blue channel here. So we did not have the momentum. Now, I had predicted that we would go up here. I saw a potential for us to travel up here and laid it out very specifically in my triangle-induced dream video. And that didn't occur. We didn't have the momentum to make that play out. And what's really, really interesting is I was watching another, I believe I already said this, I was watching another channel where a guy does Elliott waves or whatever. And he had the same scenarios laid out. So this one it was almost exactly to mine. I didn't really analyze it, but pretty darn close. Similar explosion upward. And the other two was very dumpy down to the bottom, and another one was kind of sideways. But the sideways one and the very bullish one both eventually led, or either immediately or eventually led to a nice bull rally, and I do see that's what's coming. The problem I'm having is the big players are trying to dump on us and liquidate a lot of people, but they don't have the momentum to do that either. They can't. There's too many other big players out there with cash that are interested in investing in Bitcoin for some of these bigger whales to effectively play their dumpy games. So I think that's what's happening right now. But so if they have the opportunity, they will dump as far down as they can to get people liquidated and cause a cascading liquidation effect and then suck up the shares as we slowly creep up from that bottom or quickly creep up from that bottom or whatever we do. So this head and shoulders pattern we're forming would give them the perfect opportunity to do that. So we got to watch some levels here. First of all, it's clear to see that we have bounced here. We came down hard and close to this line here. Now, I don't know how exact that channel is that I have drawn. I've tried to draw it as accurately as I could, but as time plays out, it may need to be adjusted slightly. Maybe that candle wick is exactly touching the channel. And only time will tell. But anyway, it gives us a good idea as to what's going on. So far we are still basically oscillating in the channel that we are traveling upwards in from our previous bull flag pattern. Until we break that line, that's all we're doing. And so potentially anytime now, or Monday or Tuesday, this green vertical line represents U.S. market open Tuesday. I put that there so I could just have an easy reference to it. CME futures is already trading. So the only other thing we have to wait for is the Bitcoin ETFs. Now, I've long said that the time frame for whales and other people or whoever to play their games is outside U.S. market trading hours, when price action would not affect the ETFs and would not affect the ETF charts. If they can screw around and do whatever they want on the weekends, as long as the charts look good for institutional investors and the pension funds and all the big money they're trying to pull in, that's all fine and dandy. So if we did see a dump, I'd expect it before this green line, somewhere coming up here. Now, so we got to watch this level, which currently, let's see, we're on a 4-hour chart, is 67, about 67,900, and by Monday morning, that'll be 68,300. If we break that, then I have a couple neckline estimates. If we break that, then we are probably going to complete this head and shoulders pattern down to either this orange neckline or this red neckline. I'm not quite sure because you got a lot of wicky candles down here. So I've drawn them at a couple different spots. And but it gives us a range anyway. And I may adjust those too. As I'm seeing right now, that this green candle wick would be a key level, a key point, and neither of these are touching. One is below and one's above. So it's just really hard because you can see they're not exactly hitting. They're hitting some of these points and not others. So, and if we were to take you can't just take the furthest point on each neckline, at the points between the shoulder and the head, or the outside parts of the shoulder, because those don't match up either. But I'm trying to get that as close as I can. Regardless, we shall see what happens once price action gets there, because if I don't know. I just don't know. But what would be interesting, if the red neckline is correct, that does intersect the most important parallel channel in Bitcoin's history, coming up here pretty soon into Asian trading hours on Monday. And I don't believe they have Memorial Day there. So that could be a good possibility for some dumpy action. Now, if that does play out, where would that take us to? Got a couple targets. the red target and the orange target here. Anyway, basically it would take us down to somewhere between 63.5 and 62.5. So that's only $1,000 range, so that's pretty good. But I pulled these targets based on what you believe the top of the head is. Now, is the top of the head? Does the top of the head, actually that makes a lot more sense, that the top of the head would be the orange, this orange arrow, because that goes to the center line of the white channel we're trading in, coming off of the inverse head and shoulders. However, the tippy top of the head runs into the center line of our blue channel. So, technically, I'd take the orange target, the orange measurement, but this red one also has significance. And actually, the red one, actually where I measured it to, is the white center line of the most important channel in Bitcoin's history. So that very well could play out too. And actually, if the center line actually would be, in fact, that white line is the bottom of the channel, what could happen is that we come down here, break down to somewhere just below the mean band of the Gaussian channel, and possibly all the way down to this orange line, which is the neckline of our inverse head and shoulders pattern back here. That's the neckline of that pattern. So if we ever break that, that's bad. That's bad news. So potentially, I think the goal of the big people is to try to bring this down as close to that line as they can before market opens on Tuesday, to either flush people out, liquidate them, or scare them out of their positions. And you know, that wouldn't be what is that? That's about 62.8 or so, 62.6 to 62.8ish. And then recover from that before market opens, probably back up to 69,000. That's what I would do if I was a big whale trying to screw a lot of people over. So anyway, just wanted to get this out to show you what I'm seeing. And whatever happens, I believe it'll just be a capitulation flushing event. And we will be moving on and upwards sometime this week. Now, if we do not get a big dump like that, that's the worst case scenario, okay? So let me lay out some other scenarios here. Now, I do have these trend lines kind of forming a channel here. Now, this is only one option. And what you can see here actually is really, really good. It's really positive. This trend line here, if this was a channel we were trading in, and then forming this shoulder, a bounce off of here and upwards is very possible. And that keeps us inside our upwards sloping parallel channel from the inverse head and shoulders, which is that white line right there. And it's actually a very nice bounce, textbook bounce, off of trading downwards in a parallel channel, breaking free, coming down, retesting the top of the channel for support, and pumping up from there. So this very well could be a move to the upside here. when the Asian markets open. That's one way to go. Now, the other way to go is that if this head and shoulders does play out, perhaps then we just keep oscillating downwards in this channel, in this direction here. All the way through to the FOMC meeting. When would that be? That's way over there. Oh my God, that would bring us all the way down to 58,000 if we did that. I don't think that's going to happen at all. But we'll have to discuss that some other time, because this would just be a slow grind downward. But I don't have an opinion on that either. That doesn't look good. I think one of two things is going to happen. I don't think we're in for any. It's hard to say. Can we put up with any more sideways consolidation, or are we just about sick and tired of it and we need an explosion either downward or upwards? One thing though, if we do explode downwards, I expect a quick rally back upwards. I believe that would be a capitulatory event before taking the next leg up here, up to possibly even breaking out above the most important, at least up to the most important channel in Bitcoin's history. I bet we'll see something there around 77, 78,000, and then have to reevaluate there and see if we go higher from that. I imagine if we did, we might consolidate there and then explode up to this question mark, which was my original target for my triangle-induced Bitcoin dream. So we might dump, pump, and pump some more, and then we would definitely see a big, huge downwards back to the top of this channel, and then possibly play out here up and down between the top of the blue parallel channel and the top of our most important channel in Bitcoin history, and range in there for a while until we get our parabolic bull rally. And this action in here would then satisfy, it would build up structure from here. That's what I want to see. I want to see where we build up structure at, because wherever we build up structure before the parabolic rally is probably where we're going to see a pullback too. When we have a pullback after a significant pump to the upside. Now I imagine we're going to have something like 3 possible parabolic runs. One in October, November, one in April, May of 2025, and then another one towards the end of 2025. So that's very, very possible, but then each of those would have a dramatic pullback in between. So that's something to kind of consider. That's just what I believe. Who knows how everything's going to play out, and you should not base your decisions on solely what I say, but take them into consideration, along with the opinions of a lot of other people and yourself. You must be responsible for all your own actions. And as we're watching, this is moving up pretty nicely. Let's go on a 5-minute chart and see what's going on. Yeah, we're coming up little by little by little. But so often I see it when we do come up little by little by little like that. Then all of a sudden you get that big dump. And that's those whales trying to F with you. See, right now, they're getting rid of all the buying pressure. All the buying pressure is slowly buying up their Bitcoin. And then once that gets removed from the system, then there's a big dump. And then a little bit more, big dump. So let's see if that occurs over the next few hours and gets us, first of all, below this line, which is the channel we're trading in, upwards from the inverse head and shoulders. That is currently around 68,000 and change. 68,000 currently, and then goes up over time to like 68.23, and by tomorrow morning. And the orange line, which is a possible neckline. I wish I'll have to reconsider these more and see what. I don't even know if I'll have it. Now, what's interesting is the red line that I've drawn is perfectly parallel to. Well, it's perfectly parallel to the blue channel, the center line of the blue channel here. It's perfectly parallel to the bottom of the blue channel down here. Which also, we could. There is potential to come all the way back down to the bottom of the blue channel, and still remain very, very bullish, because that's at about 59,000, and the this guy, the 21-week moving average, is at 57,000. So that still is possible. I think they're going to have a hard time getting down there. The only way they could get down there is taking advantage of low periods of low trading volume in Bitcoin. I don't know otherwise how they're going to be able to do that. There's just too many people that are willing to suck up a bunch of Bitcoin in anywhere in the $60,000 range. And currently, we're seeing it with Mr. 100 and all these other players that are buying all the way up to 70,000, myself included. Anyway, I'm going to look through the couch right now and see if I can find any change to send over to Coinbase. But thus far, looks like we're having a bounce here. I guess I better go now because I'm not saying anything new. And everything that's going on is still not invalidating the head and shoulders yet. But if we do see Bitcoin trading up here above these lines, above 69,000, above our previous all-time high, it's looking less likely, still possible, but we'll just have to, if we're able to maintain above the blue channel, the blue center line here, and head back outside the daily Gaussian channel and up above Bitcoin's previous all-time high from last cycle, all that stuff is all right here. We can get above that cluster of lines. It's looking pretty positive, but still not out of the woods yet. All right, like, subscribe, and see you next time.